I am white trash. For the politically correct, that's Caucasian debris. Do we have any white trash here tonight, ladies and gentlemen? I could sense it. And I'm proud to be white trash. We're the world's last oppressed minority. Think about that. Any other group, you call them a name. You're a racist, you're a bigot, you're insensitive, but you can say whatever you want about white trash. Nobody cares. Not even white trash. In fact, that is the hallmark of white trash. We don't care. Other groups protest. They vote. White trash doesn't do any of that. And when I do this bit around the country, people will say to me, what's the difference between a redneck and white trash? Well, rednecks are a peg up. White trash is here to make everybody else feel better. Everybody else feels superior. What other group has trash after their names? Do white trash lives matter? They don't care. But you won't ever see that on the news or the media. None of those people care. They're not interested, you know. So many people today think they're supposed to be given something. We're supposed to be given something. I think some young person soon is going to say, the government should give us free toilet paper. It's not my fault I crap. Because we are becoming a politically correct society. Changing our history, changing our language. They don't use the word problems anymore. Now it's an issue. You're not going to a doctor, you're going to a caregiver. You're not going to a hospital, you're going to a wellness center. Everything sounds better, but it's still the same thing. It's just to confuse us. I did a show at UCLA, I told a joke. I said, my grandma's going deaf, we can't afford a hearing aid, so we stopped talking to her. The lady that booked the show stopped me. She said, the term is no longer deaf. It's hearing impaired. I said, it doesn't matter what you say. She ain't going to hear it. The LA Times announced they will no longer use the term illegal alien. They believe it's insensitive. I thought it was just a definition. You have legal aliens and illegal. That's as simple as that. That's all it is. But it's insensitive. Pretty soon we'll call burglars unwelcome house guests.
I guess some people would say I'm racist. I don't think I am. I know this. I'm definitely less racist than my great-grandparents. That changes over time. Did you know this? Racism that term wasn't even coined until 1902. 1902 they came up with that word, which seems a little late. To be doing something that much and not even have a word for it. Hundreds of years. And it makes me wonder, what horrible thing are we doing now that we don't even have a word for? And then your kids are going to come up with that word, young people, and they're going to throw it in your face. Like, Grandpa, you were a swiggler. We were all swigglers. Everybody swiggled. It was a different world. Yes, we accumulated debt. We lived beyond our means. We swiggled, yes. And you know why we accumulated all that debt? Because it's expensive to ruin the earth. Costs money to make all nuclear weapons and chemical weapons, big piles of them. Costs money. Then you got to pay someone to guard that. All that plastic in the ocean, you think that was free? No, we had to buy that. Throw it in there and buy some more. But you know, if we hadn't spent that money right now, it would only be 2 degrees warmer instead of 6. Do you know that? Takes money to turn up the heat. We hadn't have done that, what, right now, you'd be wearing a sweater. You're welcome. And those torn pants would be a bit chilly, wouldn't they? Yeah. You're welcome for that.
Thank you very much. Before I dive in, I just want to give you a couple disclaimers. I just want to apologize for my carbon footprint, income and inequality, my white privilege, and just being a man in general. I've never groped anyone, but other men have, so shame on me. I'm sorry. Apparently, my demographic is responsible for every problem in the world today, so let me just take a moment to apologize for everything. I'm sorry for, thank you, the high cost of health care, for global warming, that AK-47s are legal, but in California, plastic straws are not. I'm sorry that you were all told you could be whatever you wanted to be when you grew up. How's that working out for you? The world is not filled with cowboys and ballerinas, and it is my fault. I'm sorry. Ladies, I just want to apologize for so much. The pain of childbirth, the fact that society pressures you into shaving and waxing everything, which I enjoy, so I'm a hypocrite, so I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry. White men, I just want to say, time's up. You had a good run, but your dynasty has been supplanted by diversity, so sorry for that. And whatever's bothered you in the past or in the future, I will take blame for it. It is my fault, so we can all move on. Are we good? All right. There we go.
We parent different. I don't buy into the politically correct mentality that we're all the same. Who's tired of the whole politically correct mentality where you can't... If you want to see politically correct comedy, you need to go see a non-smoking, drug-free, vegetarian, bisexual, handicapped, Native American, senior citizen female that drives her electric car to her job at the recycling plant. I'm not the one. We do things different. I don't buy into the hype, we're all the same. To say that we're all the same, we're all equal, but to say we're all the same denies God's creation as far as I'm concerned. He knew what he was doing. He made us all a little bit different. Look how we parent. Each ethnic group does it a little bit different. No one gives better parental advice than my white brothers and sisters. You guys give statistics and facts. You guys have flyers on the refrigerator. It's beautiful. Just say no, Billy. A Mexican mom doesn't give statistics. She doesn't give facts. She'll just give examples. You're gonna end up like your cousin Lupe.
I set out to write the most politically incorrect love song you ever heard. I think I've done it. Here we go. I know I'm just as scared as you are. Well, I was standing by the bar and she stole my heart when her wheelchair rolled my way. She's the handicapped queen of the honky-tonk. She's got her very own parking space. She lost her leg in a threshing machine, but if you play her favorite song, she can do the two-step. It just takes her twice as long. I hold her tight, we dance all night. Things have never been so good. I'll never forget the night we met and I swept her off her foot. Her only physical challenge is keeping her balance on the dance floor when I give her a whirl. But I ain't never had nobody lean on me like my one-legged country girl. If you ain't laughing at this, you're gonna hate the song about cancer, I swear. Verse 2. She can ride the mechanical bull, but 7 seconds is her best. It seems that she falls right off every time it turns left. Think about that. You advanced people try to figure out which leg it is. Kind of fun. You non-advanced people, it's a right leg. Here we go. She used to have one that was made of wood. You can blame it on desire. I guess we just got too close when we snuggled up by the fire. I hold her tight. We dance all night. Things have never been so good. She would not run around on me, even if she could. I'm just waiting for you to catch up. We don't do the electric slide, which to me is funny all by itself. For her, it's suicide, 'cause her lower limbs ain't plural. They're not plural. She's got one. Sure thought we went over that. Ain't never had nobody get that quiet during the plural part or lean on me. One time there was a woman in the audience, she had one leg and she was not happy. And I outran her. One flight of stairs, I never saw her again. Hopping mad, it was ridiculous. One time there was a guy in the audience, had one leg, he had a daggum good sense of humor. He popped his fake leg off and he waved it around in the crowd. I didn't know what to say. He stumped me like my one-legged country girl.
I was watching the History Channel, and sure, it's nothing but repeats. But I learned something fascinating about California. It's the most diverse state in the country because 160 years ago, there weren't a lot of people living there. And then one guy found one little piece of gold, and then men from every corner of the planet came to strike it rich. And then they were followed by women who follow men who follow money. And that's pretty much how the West was won. First the gold diggers, and then the gold diggers. And it makes California very diverse, which is fine, but also very politically correct because they don't want anyone to be offended by anything. So they didn't call it a Christmas party. I said, it's a Christmas party. And they said, well, no, don't say that. And I said, well, then I'll say Happy Hanukkah, too. And they're like, no, because then you'll have to say, have a beautiful Boxing Day and a Kwezi Kwanzaa and a terrific Timkat. Just forget it. It's a holiday party. Just call it a holiday party. And they changed the songs. They didn't play I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas for two reasons. On that one, and Frosty the Snowman is now Caitlin, a person of snow. We three kings of Orient are very offended that you would say Orient. You can't say Orient anymore because they don't want to offend Asians, and you can't say spick and span anymore because they don't want to offend Latinos. Yep, you have to say spick and Spaniard. It's very, very touchy. You can't even order a black Russian in a bar in California. Excuse me, I'd like a former Soviet Republic of African descent on the rocks, please.
A lot of comedians make fun of millennials, not me. You got it tougher. Like older guys, our lives, older women, your lives, basically your whole lives. Here's what you had to do. Something was funny, you laughed. Not millennials. You got a whole different math. It's the millennial math. It's like, okay, was that racist? Was that sexist? Was that body shaming? A lot of stuff to consider.
We argue a lot about political correctness. Some say it's gone too far. I say not far enough. Especially in the names we still give to certain diseases. Like, I feel like it's very offensive to people with attention deficit disorder that we thought we had to abbreviate it to ADD. The doctor that came up with that was like, look, you have a disability, but you're not going to be able to pay attention long enough for me to tell you what it is. Stop playing with my stethoscope, dude. Focus. When they came up with the name for Asperger's, that had to have been a joke. They're like, we have this disease where people have a hard time picking up on social cues. What should we call it? Wait a minute. We can name this thing anything, and they'll have no idea how awkward it is when they say it. Get this. Asperger's. Some of you are thinking, it's spelled ASP, not ASS, and you have Asperger's. Where's your sense of fun? When they came up with dyslexia, that had to have been the same process. They're like, these people have a hard time reading. What should we call this thing? Let's make it the hardest word to read ever. We'll throw an S and an X. They don't stand a chance. When they read the name of their own disease, they'll be like, I have lixdexia. Cysdexia. It'll be hilarious. The way we raise money for people with disabilities is a little insensitive to me, too. Like, I saw an asthma 5K. Yeah. Let's raise money for these people by doing the one thing they can't do. That's like doing a charades tournament for the blind. Or co-ed boxing for domestic violence. Yeah, I know that is offensive, but now you know how the people with asthma feel. Real rude what we're doing to these asthmatics. We're like, I'm gonna have a lot of fun running in this race you can't run in. Wanna hear the playlist I'm gonna listen to? They've got Just Breathe by Faith Hill. Take My Breath Away from the Top Gun soundtrack. Lots of songs by Weezer. My playlist is rife with irony.
It's interesting being a comedian nowadays, because a lot of people will give you feedback. They'll tell you when they don't like a joke, they can find you online. A lot of my comedian friends, they hate that. They're like, oh man, I hate the feedback. Not me though, right? I enjoy it. The other day, someone told me, I had a joke about sweatshop workers. They're like, I don't think you should do a joke about sweatshop workers because you don't even know what it's like to be a sweatshop worker. And I was like, actually, I've walked a lot of miles in their shoes. So now I have a better joke about sweatshop workers. The feedback helps.
So I do like to crochet, but I don't like that when you're crocheting in public, people think you're friendly. I don't get that. Like, I like to take my crocheting with me wherever I go, and I was crocheting on a plane the other day, and just like a normal human being, just crocheting away, and the lady sitting next to me on the plane, she's watching me crochet like a weirdo. She thinks that's a good reason to have a conversation. She looks over, she goes, ooh, me and you, we have a lot to talk about. I said, I doubt it. But why do you think so? She goes, you crochet? I knit. And she pulled out her knitting and started knit. I've never been so embarrassed in my life. And boy, was she wrong. I didn't talk to her the whole flight. Which was kind of a problem, because when we got up, she left her phone sitting on the seat, and I didn't know what to say, so I just started shouting, hey, knitter! Which is not something you want to shout in a crowded, enclosed space, because I think some people misunderstood me. So if you see someone knitting at a distance and you need to get their attention, use the politically correct phrase. Say, hey, African American. Could save your life someday.
I'm sorry. You know what it is? I feel like the older I get, do you feel like this? My tolerance for nonsense is shrinking with every year. I don't like the fact that we can't be called customers anymore when we shop. That's a little too PC, right? Now we're all guests. So I saw the other day, will the next guest step up? I was in Dunkin' Donuts. I'm sorry, Dunkin', because we're a little too lazy to say donuts in this country now. But I was in like a Dunkin' Donuts, and the overly happy cashier was like, next guest. I was like, listen, pal, I'm a customer. And he says, no, sir. He says, here at Dunkin', we want you to feel like we're your friend and you're a guest in your friend's home. And I said, that's fantastic. My friends don't charge me for coffee. Fill it up, friend. I became a customer very quickly.
Now, I don't do jokes about politics or current events because I value your opinion and I want you to keep it. So these next series of jokes have nothing to do with what's going on in the world today. If there is some correlations, it's purely an accidental coincidence. I think it's a hate crime to put a gay person in a straitjacket. There's a new movie coming out about a woman who has a sex change operation and lives the rest of her life as a man. And the name of that movie is Ben-Hur. I don't think red, white, and blue are the colors of freedom when they're flashing in your rearview mirror.
Times are changing, man. They're talking about changing the team of the Redskins, changing the name. Because they, there's a group of Native Americans getting together, and they're protesting Washington Redskins for naming their team the Redskins. They thought it was discursive. And do this way, that's not a word. I'm sorry, it's not a word. Y'all didn't say anything either, Utah. Come on, y'all was like, yeah, it's discursive as heck. I can't believe it. No, they thought it was disgraceful for them to name a team after someone slurred. At first, I was like, yeah, that's messed up. And I was like, we got the Browns. Well, we got the Browns. Like, what is a Brown, sir? Exactly. He said, I have no clue. They were going to name the Cleveland Negroes, but they said that wasn't. They said, just call them the Browns. They'll never know. Ooh, that's terrible. I'm not going to lie, I was scared about that one because I said Negro, but I was like, I'm black. I can say whatever I want. I'm kidding. Mexicans got the Steelers. No, I'm stop. Stop it. Stop. Stop. It's not funny. Oh man, that joke makes no sense. But it's funny. It's funny.
In fact, gentlemen, there's this thing that we do in the public restrooms that we just, no one's ever told us. We just do it. Oh, ladies, those of you who are going to start using the men's room, pay attention. We all have options now. Let me just go ahead and address it. Because, really the issue is about men dressing like women to go in the ladies' room. That's really the controversy. Because women, you've been welcome into our room the whole time. Come on in. Love to have you. Love to have you. But you have to change your appearance. Come as you want. Say, my name's Hank. We don't care. Here's my point, is if your presence will inspire some of these other fellas to actually aim, I'm all for it. Maybe they'll just start putting flowers and potpourri in ours. But here's
Trying to stay optimistic about it. Trying to stay optimistic in general. It's hard. But you really can. I'll say this. You can find something daily that you stay optimistic about. I found something last month that I'm super optimistic about. I was traveling to Minneapolis. I was doing a show up there. And I had to go to the bathroom real fast. So I stopped at this casino. I'm walking to the men's bathroom. And there's like female janitor who's about to go in and clean the bathroom. So that's always a weird moment for a guy. Because at that point, you're like, listen, I was going to use the urinal, but I'll use a stall now. That feels a little weird. So I go in. I use the stall, do my business, and I walk out of the stall. And right by the sink, now there's like these two old ladies just sitting there, just washing their hands. And my first thought, honestly, was like, oh, Alzheimer's, what a terrible, terrible disease, right? I didn't know what was going on. But they looked back at me very nervous. They didn't say anything, and I started looking around like, where are all the urinals? And then it dawned on me, oh, I'm in a woman's bathroom right now. I'm in a woman's bathroom, and if they scream, I'm going to jail. That's how that works right about now. So I start to panic. I didn't know what to do. I saluted them, they're part of the military. I was like, thank you for your service, and just started running away. And the entire time, they didn't scream. They didn't scream, and that is why I say optimistic. And this is the point where you're going like, what are you talking about? Here's what I mean. I think 10 years ago, they absolutely screamed. They absolutely screamed. But now, they looked at me, and they probably went, you know what? She's probably transitioning. Let's not be weird about this right now, all right? That's... The beard's gotta go, but she'll get there. She'll get there. We are so woke, Gwendolyn. We are so...
Why do I'm saying? Because you guys remember what it was to work hard. You remember what it was to go and forge a land where there was nothing before. And let me tell you why I love Utah. Because you hunt, you fish, and you don't apologize for it. And that's why I love coming to Utah. That's America. I'm sick up to here with the politically correct. Don't shoot the animals, they might get their feelings hurt. This is Utah. You don't even pretend to be animal rights activists. You people to see the bunny, shoot it, eat it, make a hat. That's a cute bunny. Yeah, that sure was. Is that a snake? Nope, that's a boot right there. That's America. Shoot it, eat it, got a head left over, hang it on your wall. Look what I've done. Look what I've created.